back in the starting 11, who've been suspended on match day 3 after getting sent off on match day 2. He's one of 2 changes from the 3-0 win over Getafe on match day 3 for Valencia. Aguirre Zabala in goal, a back 5, Fulquier, Tarrega, Diakabi, Copete and Gaya. Javi Guerra, Santa Maria holding things in midfield, and Juma, Diego Lopez and Hugo Duro up front for Valencia. Before the game kicks off, there will be a minute's silent held in memory of the Barcelona club members who passed away during the previous season. It's a tradition that happens in the first home game of the season in many Spanish teams' stadiums. So we're just about ready then for kick-off for a game which might end up being the answer to a quiz question one day in the future. It was the first La Liga game for Barcelona to be played in the Estadio Johan Cruyff. There's a little bit of pressure as well on Barcelona, as we said, 5 points behind Real Madrid, who have started with 4 wins from 4. Barcelona dropping points on match day 3. And now up against Valencia.
I'd argue 2 other things add to the pressure, which is Lamine Yamal is the most resolve and more vision, the most dangerous footballer in their squad. He's absolutely secondly. All this season, they've played really poorly.
We are underway then. Barcelona kicking from left to right in this first half. Lamine Yamal picking up an injury on international duty. Still playing both games, something which Hansi Flick was absolutely furious about. I haven't seen him quite that angry for a while.
He got all statistical and interrupted one of the questions at the press conference. You remember that he detailed exactly how many minutes Lamine had played in each situation. A 3-0 win in Sofia against Bulgaria, and then a 6-goal thrashing of Turkey and Konya, and it made his point sound pretty good. But now there's a finger pointing going on between sources at the FA saying, well, he left here uninjured. And Flick, who played both barrels, exactly as you pointed out, and named De La Fuente and said that the medics at this meeting had given analgesics, painkillers to Lamine to play through. So not everybody's telling the entire truth.
Of course, it is a big loss not having Lamine Yamal available for Barcelona, and it is a chance for us to see Rooney Bardghji, first minutes in a Barcelona shirt. Competitively did feature in the Joan Gamper Trophy, the traditional curtain raiser to the season, which was supposed to be played at the Camp Nou on the 10th of August, but was played in this stadium instead. Here is Pedri.
Just for those who haven't seen young Rooney, born in Kuwait City, Swedish national, played for the Danish team before coming here. And if you remember that Danish team, FC Copenhagen, and you're a Manchester United fan, first of all, tough day, people. He scored a wonder goal, a winning goal, a 4-3 win against Manchester United, the Ten Hag Manchester United, and they win because Rashford was sent off. Little connections. The 5 steps from Kevin Bacon, that football perpetually shows up.
Here is Copete, summer signing to replace Christian Mosquera, left for pretty big money to Arsenal.
Mosquera's settling in really well, playing with lots of confidence. Copete, definitely, but for the money spent and given their need, a pretty apt piece of business, no?
Absolutely.
pointed out that Flick really looked busy when he prepared his speech for the press conference.
There's a chance here for Marcus Rashford, who's thrown by Rashford. Glazes it over. Really decent opportunity there for Marcus Rashford.
And although he scored and played quite well on the Korean tour, this is the stadium where he's played his best football for Football Club Barcelona. That's a poor attempt at finishing. His against Cespa against the City Asset Como. He dropped deep, received the ball from Joan Garcia with his back to goal, inside his own half, swiveled, played a nice 1-2 with Fermin and centre for Rafinha. It's the most fluent, silky, powerful football Rashford has yet shown.
If you're wondering, Rafinha is on the bench this evening. It is a really, star-studded bench for Barcelona. Rafinha, Lewandowski, Dani Olmo, Araujo, Christensen, no experience there. Here is Ferran Torres, and he was immediately looking for the run of Marcus Rashford.
Well, we can help a little bit if there are Culés out there watching this game with us. Club insiders, genuine insiders, have leaked the fact that Rafinha committed that cardinal sin in the Flick being late for a meeting, and therefore dropped 2 players have been already last season. Just couldn't they do that?
Corner whipped in. There is Koundé arriving. Rashford with the effort. Washed it all away.
And you think he rushed the ball in from post and not back Koundé's run. He does have an eye for goal. He does have timing for goal. And in fact, he probably should score here. Just takes the ball a little bit too soon. Directs it against the bad capacity for sign an Athletic Club. Big chance. This should give us a just the tiniest touch from the Frenchman. His French compatriot, which ruins Koundé.
Fouquier getting in the way of what would have been the opening goal for Barcelona.
Fouquier was such a beneficiary of Corberan this season. His form, his confidence, his rampaging runs made him look a far superior footballer than he had previously. Take that elixir of confidence for him, maybe.
Certainly. They trained with him at centre-back during the week. With Luis Rioja at right wing-back, but decided to go with Fouquier at right-back and Copete as the centre-back alongside Jacobi and Tarrega this evening.
So right now it's very clearly 3 centre-backs plus 2 defenders, not what's called carrereros, wing-backs. Corberan wants that to change, and he wants to occupy more of the midfield. He wants the wing-backs to push forward and squeeze the midfield. But he made a very good point in Saturday's press conference where, when being referred back to the 7 goals that he lost and the 5 goals he lost in 2 games last season, he said, listen, systems are systems. It wasn't the systems that failed the my players. And it's true, they gave the ball away perpetually, they were naive and open, they didn't chase back, the first pressure on the ball wasn't good enough. These things need to change more than, is it the system that can win them the victory?
What a glimpse of some of the players who are unavailable tonight for Barcelona through injury.
A couple of them. What was that little section of the stand worth in terms of transfer fees? A lot of dosh?
A lot. Players unavailable: Balde, Gavi, Lamine Yamal, Frankie de Jong and Marc-Andre ter Stegen, of course, as well. There is Pedri. A shot from Gaji. Close down. Here is Maduro. Actually with Eric Garcia, but nothing in that.
Massive left-foot intervention by Eric Garcia. And really, one of the things that will trouble you a little bit, if you look at what his development is going to be, is he plays in the same position as he does the same thing, comes in onto his much stronger foot, the left. How does he get games out?
There is Marcus Rashford. He's getting to he had Fermin completely open there. He threw a pass, couldn't find him. From Jet battling and winning a free kick. Bustling run there from Marcus Rashford getting to the byline.
Frustrating for the Englishman, who's got so many people looking at him really closely, microscopically closely. Got a burst of confidence when he takes it to the byline, holds it, comes back, and then does the simple thing quite poorly. This moment, you do when you're fully confident in your fitness, your sharpness, your body. It's a really nice piece of play. The camera angle back to how you said, a side-footed right foot pass into the path of Fermin. Certainly there's a goal chance.
Here is Fermin. Looking for the run of Ferran. Copete cutting it out.
That's what cost him last season. Exactly that flaw. Don't give Barcelona chances you don't have to.
It's Pedri. Harrison's with his style in terms of Lamine, the age is similar as well, he's only 19.
Yeah. It's not the kid. 2 years old. He's going to be 20 in November. It's amazing thing the junior kid, the guy who could prove himself, is at least a year and 3/4 older. And have you ever in your football career, Phil, seen a moment where an 18-year-old is absent and everyone's like, oh, it's me, it's a disaster. Danny Carvajal spoke about him the other day on the radio. I think we were tuning into that interview, and he said, listen, at 18, I was just kicking cans in the youth set up at road. To be a decisive player at 18 is close to miraculous. Which one?
And speaking of interviews, Lamine Yamal gave an interview this week to veteran Spanish journalist on his podcast. He said, I don't dream of winning the Ballon d'Or, I dream of winning many Ballon d'Ors. Which was the headline. Here is Fermin, close to Ferran Torres. And he cheats it over. He really should have scored.
So much talk about that. It looked offside, it hasn't been given. Firmin's intervention is so twice. That's just so definite touch. And this is lovely composure. Not something Varane is always associated with. Without question, probably just enough to get into the room rather than the back.
Slide, very slide.
No, a nice football thought.
Well, it won't go down as the magnificent save that it was, but fingertips to the goal of the season.
I know you're not a massive fan of having questions pinged at you while you're commentating, but you feel a little bit of sympathy for Dimitrievski? Came, waited a season, thought that Mamadou leaving was going to be my big moment, and they got to spend well on a really good goalkeeper.
A little bit, yes. He is on the bench tonight, so Dimitrievski. Signed from Rayo Vallecano.
And a good egg. Good. You might have thought he was going to merit the earth, maybe he was too weak. But in all seriousness, Atletico Madrid has been a right good setting. If you're Dimitrievski, your nose should be out of joint, I think.
Here is Rashford charging once again. Straight into Tarrega. Pedri, Kunde making a run. That's been spotted.
How many clubs? Maybe Manchester City have two of your 3 biggest goal opportunities coming from your right back, right in the heart of the opposition penalty box.
Happy get getting forward. Tarrega. Abigail had made the run through the middle, but he would have been well offside had the pass found him.
One of the things you expect is that Barcelona have looked ragged in the implementation of their offside, and particularly against the crafty promptings of Issa in the last game, which they should have lost to Vallecas. The implementation of the line has looked ragged, and Valencia, whether they've got so many passes or subtle and clever enough to release, they've got the runners, they've got the people with the timing to run like Juma or Duro or Lopez that can punish for Barcelona.
It's Casador. Much was made of a possible exit for him towards the end of the summer transfer window. And here he is. Manager definitely didn't want to lose him.
Sad thing is that because he's a youth product, he gets sort of brownie points for selling a youth product and trying to get in touch with financial fair play. He's such a good footballer. Not only did he start in the first quarter of last season for Barcelona, when he made his Spain debut, particularly his starting debut against Switzerland, he absolutely strolled through it. He's a footballer of tremendous ability.
And a Barcelona fan at heart.
Yeah, that sometimes counts in the modern game, and as you've alluded to, he said to the club, I'm not going.
To Casado, Luis Fermin. Artachi. Strikes it. Took that first time, connected really well, straight into the arms of Aguirre Zabala, but Graham.
Can we say strikes it Lamine Yamal style?
You feel like you've seen that shot before.
I love it when you can anticipate every thought and every day. But in all seriousness, one of the things he has to prove in order to get more game time is how strong his right foot is.
Chuma putting pressure on. Garcia was up to the challenge. Looking for Rashford. Tavega, one of the tallest players on the pitch, winning the header. Santa Maria winning, robbed by Casado. Was Fermin with the shots.
That's when I look on when you can hear from the bench. I don't know if all of you are heard it, as the ball had already been nipped off his toes, and he was completely, you could see him looking around as Fermin ate him up, meaning either his brain's not quite in gear yet, or there aren't enough passing options, and I think the latter is probably true.
It's been a very positive start here from Barcelona. We saw the possession statistics. 70%, 7 shots in the opening 15 minutes.
And playing well doesn't guarantee you points. There are no extra bonus points for nice football, but this is by far the most complete football they've played this season. They started well against Mallorca and then just went off the boil completely, and eventually it was against 9 men. This is probably the most impressive quarter of an hour of Barcelona's season so far.
Stanringer cut out that attack. Fouquier gets his head down, charges forward. Straight into Pablo Garcia. Timely padding to Ronald Araujo on the bench.
The Glums. They used to make a cartoon strip called The Glums, and that's no good reason apart from having an international duty within Europe, so no jet lag, left out again. Although distinct form, I have to say, for a player I like very much watching and interviewing because he's bright and articulate, but he's a really intricately skilled footballer. At certain stages of last season, he was a key footballer. He's been out for months. So there was a lot of runs on that bench.
There is Danjuma, does well to bring in Fouquier, makes his way into the box. Here is Lopez with the cross. Right in front of that travelling Valencia support, which is making itself felt here. Last season, this fixture was won 7-1 by Barcelona. Valencia fans chanting that Valencia are playing at home because they're making the noise. The Barcelona fans aren't making the noise. There is Casado.
Nice football play now. All came from Joan Garcia shouting to Garcia, leave it my ball. So there was more space to start the play out, and Barcelona affected it quite well.
There is Fermin. There is competition for that place between him and Dani Olmo, and Rafinha used there as well. It feels like.
And it's a position where Petri sometimes plays for the national team in between the two wingers. So,
although not in the last international break, and he played so well that maybe we won't see him play there.
Okay, I know, folks, just bear with us. Well, Phil and I have a sidebar when Fabian Ruiz and Roger fully fit. Let me tell you for sure that I went to for Spain puts Petri back into 10 goal two wingers. Simple as.
There is Rooney, and there is Ferran. The shot was blocked. Maduro will chase this. And Garcia, who started every game this season, obviously impressed. Handsy flick. He only started 14 games in the league in the previous campaign. There is Rashford. It's offside.
Did you see that invention coming? Because you analyse, you predict a lot about patterns and choices. When he was moved
You know they're off now.
right back,
Yeah, no, they're off now, yeah.
obvious, natural thing. Of course, we don't see training. But Eric Garcia has thrived and has specifically said he prefers playing there than he does playing.
Was it offside?
in the midfield.
I just wanted to do like
Had you anticipate that coming, or does it now seem quite natural because of his game reading?
You know they're off. Double blue, yeah.
He's playing really well, isn't he?
It really is.
To the extent that he's largely kept him there on the side this season until they started Vallecas and didn't really have all that good game.
Which you said he had a tough year. Tough year. It's the right place.
Folks, that's a euphemism. At home, you all know what we mean.
Here is into Jules Koundé.
We haven't seen him for 6 or 7 minutes, but the position stats haven't changed. This is not what Corberan was. Structure, level of commitment, 1 or 2 last-ditch interceptions, yes, fine. But he wants his team generally and tonight to be on the ball more. Just Barcelona have made very few errors in circulation of the ball.
Here is Koundé, bit of space up ahead of him. Danjuma tracking back. Gaia to Santa Maria. Here's Rashford. It's got back quickly by Barcelona.
Started with a very good interception from Casado.
It's Ferran with the turn. Looking for Rashford. Did have Gerard Martin out wide. He has to get back now as Diego Lopez comes forward. Petri tracking back.
You mentioned Gerard Martin. I thought Valencia would try to target him. This man is a direct opponent. Diego Lopez, clever, quick. I think his future lies in the central striking role. Gerard Martin, the coach absolutely loves. One of the very few natural left footers in the squad. He's been talked about by Flick as a potential left centre back. He's very error prone. There's no doubt about that. Potentially, his distribution at his height of the pitch might be better than Alex Valdez. But in terms of defensive errors, for example, anybody neutral otherwise who watched those 2 semi-finals in the Champions League where Inter progressed, the number of mistakes which cost goals made by Gerard Martin was gigantic.
There's an error from Fulquier. Now it's with Marcus Rashford. Fulquier getting back. Koundé once again getting into the box. There's Gerard Martin. Gives it straight to Diego Lopez.
Thanks for that, Gerard.
And Diego Lopez comes forward. He could have taken that in his stride.
He's quicker than the Barca left back, 100%.
Midway points in this first half. Barcelona absolutely dominating here at the Estadio Johan Cruyff.
One thing I'd point out is that whether it's the man marking that Gaia is doing on Rudy Bargi, or whether it's simply the fact that in normal circumstances, Barca funnel the ball to Lamine all the time, and they just know that it will commit rival players that he will do something intelligent or sensational. They're not using that ball to Rooney Bargi just as much, and as such, they're a little bit embottled in the middle of the pitch. The three centre-halves of Valencia are being tested, but they're managing to squeeze Barcelona quite well in the crucial seconds when there's an opportunity around the box. I think we'll want more use of width, I'm certain of that.
Going through to Aguirre Zavala. Valencia, who were extremely strong at home last season, with the fourth best home record in the division, under Carlos Corberán since he took over on the 27th of December. In fact, if the season started when Carlos Corberán took over, they would have finished 7th in the European place. It was a noticeable upturn in their form from Christmas onwards.
I think they were bottom when they took over, something bottom 3.
They were in the relegation.
And I was nearly stoned in March when for seeing the finish 11th. And my faith in Corberán was very, very high, and I also thought that the squad were younger before now. They had and have a clutch of very good footballers. Most of them have been on the ball too infrequently tonight to prove that.
Strong run there from Ferran. It was cut out. Here's Danjuma.
Ferran pretty tipped off for his Swedish teammate for getting in the way, I think, there.
It's Pedri. Rashford. Casado. Places the pass. And it will be.
Should Rashford have been on the move there? It's a Casado mistake, because Rashford wasn't on the move, so don't put the ball into the area where you suppose he should be. In terms of the way that we're all used to how Barcelona move, Rashford should have been on the move. Stop Casado there.
Picking up that loose ball. Bargi coming in centrally, moving out wide. So setting up positionally is Gerard Martin. Back with Gerard Martin. Saw the run of Fermin from deep. It's worked so well. Fermin here is Marcus Rashford. Pushes Fermin out wide.
Fermin was exactly the way that Rashford should have done previously. Fermin was on his haunch, he was sprinter's pose, and he wanted, as soon as the ball hit Rashford, he wanted it to be released to him. And eventually the ball was held on too long by the Englishman, sent too wide. So we welcome that man back. We saw a shot Mark now.
Welcome back. Started the season so well last year. So they've done it again. They found another midfielder, Barcelona.
Well, yeah, he was the guy who was going to keep Casado out of the team altogether.
Well, I say found, cultivated and nurtured.
Yes, he was in the bargain mission and yours.
There's a chance there for having it to play and pass it behind the back line, but there was no runners from Valencia, and under pressure, and now goes back. There is Danjuma to Copete.
They were talking about Bernal and Casado coming through at the same time as Firmino came through. Other products of the system that could go on. But even with a clutch of youngsters having been on the bench or in the first team this season, Barcelona's youth sides have sequentially last year won the youth version of the Champions League, the UEFA Youth League. They were finalists in the World Cup in the Maracanã against Flamengo, and late last week by beating Rafinha they became Intercontinental Cup champions too. It's not something we're watching. And La Masia as an institution has been full of tumult, lots of changes of personnel and arguments, and yet retro fashion.
It's a beautiful touch from Ferran and Ferran. Oh, what a finish that is! Sensational goal from Barcelona, taken absolutely beautifully by Fermin, set up magnificently by Ferran, and there is the breakthrough.
And as if by magic, it's one of the Canteranos. It's an Andalus-born man, but somebody that was tutored in the youth system in La Masia. Somebody whose last few months have been controversial. On social media, somebody with their instruments emerged and daddy have fallen out. That will be healed. And this half touch, that half touch, it's a phrase I hadn't heard before. I heard Barcelona coaches usually behind the times. But 12, 13 years ago, the concept of a half touch was the key thing. Ferran Torres produces that, and it deadens the ball, it beats the defence, it deadens the ball such that there's an opportunity to put that's an exceptional finish. The way that he opens his body out, uses precision rather than power to finish.
It is a lovely finish from a player who, as they say in Spanish, he's got goal. And he does. Someone who consistently pops up in those kind of positions, running from deep into the box. That was a striker's finish.
Don't make a mistake. These Valencia players should play in the 7-1 last season. Because he had a hell of a day that day too.
Let's see if there's any kind of response here from Valencia. That immediately won a corner. They lost 7-1 in the league here last season against Barcelona. They were also beaten by 5 goals in the cup as well.
The thing about them was that they bounced back from both those defeats with victories. Can they bounce back with a goal right now?
Here is Danjuma with the corner. Away. Danjuma might get another chance, but Fermin is back. Here's Danjuma. Driven in, and Diego Lopez couldn't take the ball in his stride. It's another corner for Valencia.
Another moment in extremis from Eric Garcia. And when footballers aren't on the ball an awful lot, particularly the players and goalkeepers, and you have periods where not a lot's happening, to then be super sharp is something commending Eric Garcia was. Very, very zonal system from Barcelona. Some man marking, but mostly zonal.
Away once again by Gerard Martin, out to Guerra. Almost fell for Hugo Duro.
How frustrating that one of the silkiest, most technically gifted players on the Valencia side needed 3 touches before he sent it out wide again.
That small flurry of pressure from Valencia comes to an end. Barcelona last season, after 3 games, were top of the table with 9 points from a possible 9. They won their opening 3 matches, each one of them by the same scoreline, 2-1, including a 2-1 victory against Valencia. match day 4. They beat Valladolid by 7 goals. That's when the goal scoring really started to take place for Barca. Here is Gerard Martin. Gets stuck under his feet, it's with Casador. The scorer scored 102 goals in all competitions last season. Firepower is unquestionable. Fermin chased that. Wins the foul.
Would you agree with the proposition that given the stats there that unless you're very, very anti-Barcelona, they're most neutrals, they were just a good watch last season. We're fun in the Champions League. The two ties I mentioned, two games in the semi-final, the Copa del Rey, the Clasico, it could have gone either way. It could easily have been a winner. I think 7 minutes left before the main finals for Torres. It looks like Madrid will win that. Classic match, an absolute Barcelona match. The game against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Week after week, flicks. Champions League, they were such a
Really did. This season hasn't quite started in the same fashion, but they're playing well tonight. Here is Ferran. Right there from Popete.
Yeah, he may well grimace because he put the ball in an area where he could be robbed, and he was then neither strong enough or quick enough to get there with Rashford waiting, begging for a centre forward chance that Ferran could not produce against his ex-team.
Pau Kubasi, who has never scored a league goal for Barcelona. Eric challenging Aguirre Zabala. Eric Garcia chipped in with some important goals towards the end of last season in the league and the Champions League.
Some of which were with his prodigious leap. He's got a Tim Cahill style leap. He's not a particularly tall defender.
No, he's not.
But the timing of his runs to a header, but also his outright leap are above and beyond what you could expect. And I think that's one of the things that make him so valuable.
Santa Maria, 2 on this side for Valencia. One of them is Gaya, but it's not getting at the end of that.
Highest up the pitch that Valencia's captain has been in open play. And it's the sacrificing a lot because Rooney Barnes has not had an impact when he can fight. Gaya has been told to play as a full-back and mark him out the game, but Gaya adds so much. I think it's a Pyrrhic victory for Valencia and when the Cobra is reviewed.
He's one of the fullbacks with the biggest influence on his side's attacking play in La Liga.
And it's old-fashioned and it doesn't fit with the football intelligence you've been quoting, but he's a warrior. He's an outright warrior. The Alicante-born youth product plays in Barcelona's system pattern. The training ground where the youth system is built for Valencia saved them, kept them up in recent seasons when there wasn't the need for big transfers, when the owners of the club were moving the players out quite promptly. The youth system of Valencia saved them, and there are several products on the pitch tonight that are part of that.
It's Pedri.
Best player in the pitch so far by far.
Rashford, who started brightly, but didn't see too much from him.
He's done a few things in terms of timing and movements that aren't quite right. But I've sympathy for him because when he's at his best is when his team is playing counter-attack to run in behind. And this is a little bit like the Levante game where he was taken off at half-time. Levante played really deep, but mauled Barcelona. Were 2-0 up, could easily have been 3-0 up. Should have won the game, I would argue. Which is why I'm saying this is the best Barcelona performance this season so far.
Pedri out to Rashford, finds it with the pass. Got full care for company.
Full care for breakfast there.
Santa Maria finds Duro.
Such a bad mistake.
Here is Marcus Rashford looking to punish Valencia. Rashford takes it to the byline. Now he's tapping into the back challenge.
We haven't done that often, Corban. The second, without fear of being repetitious, that's the error that cost Valencia 12 goals against the Blaugrana last season. When you give the ball away slowly, but then your system is underestimated, where you are dishevelled and Barcelona can punch holes in your Santa Maria needs not to do that again.
By Rashford, and at the near post.
A little bit heavy legs, soft shoulders, they feel they're under pressure and they're not enjoying themselves. It's not a good sign.
They have been under pressure the entirety of this game so far. Pedri. Femi with the ball in. Casado with the strike.
Nice. Casado strikes it well. He's capable of scoring from that range, he's proven to us. He ignores his his colleague. If that was Lamine, without question. And the first thing Casado does is turn to his right and say, yeah, mate, sorry, fair play. You probably should have got that one.
Taken to Pedri. Rashford. Valencia can't clear their lines. It's in towards Garcia, who get on the end of that.
So the crowd applaud and they're pretty happy. I think that Flip, we were talking about being angry when discussing the amount of minutes that he had. Is it a case of distemper also? As we look at a handful of the youth team, some of whom used to share this pitch with Lamine Yamal, and all of whom are now like 60 stages in their career because his recent months have been so explosive. Flick hasn't been particularly happy with the way in which Barcelona have needed to try and see if they can move certain big players out during the market. He's thrilled, and he will expect a change in gear and concentration from players now that the market is finally shut. Briefly, for those who don't know what I mean, financial fair play means that Barcelona cannot spend one for one the money that comes into the club. They're not allowed to because La Liga is protecting the club's financial situation and financial fair play, and it just means that dealing and keeping players focused is harder.
Ferran was brought down there. First yellow card of the game for Diakabi.
Merited?
No arguments from him, really.
One of the things that Corban spoke to our reporter about during the build-up to the match was that he said Diakabi can either bring the ball out into midfield or situate in the midfield, and we can alternate between 5 and 4. There's been no sign of that so far.
Absolutely not.
No.
There. Casado. Rooney Badaji in his first minutes for Barcelona hasn't looked out of place. Hasn't been a question of it being a step too far. He's slotted in. He's an exciting teenager. He's calling for the ball now from Eric. He might get it from Ferran. Ferran might shoot. Again, he's a little bit frustrated, Rooney Badaji, because he didn't get that ball.
Sharks don't apologise. Casado immediately went, yeah, mate, fair enough, I probably should have fed you. Ferran's like, I'm Ferran Torres. I'm sure what I want. This touch, that half touch, that's absolutely lovely. Diakabi is completely left out in the cold. But again, going going back to your Ballon d'Or commentary style, the really special bit was finding your way past an agile goalkeeper like Zabala from that angle with that power and that precision. Really, really good play. And the Andalus.
Giving the ball away, first mistake. There's Dan Schumacher. Bit under pressure. Going back to Aguirre Zabala. You saw the stats on your screen. Valencia have not had a shot in this game so far.
And I think that the way in which that potentially empty up from Danjuma was forced back, so it wasn't necessarily because of a monster press from Barcelona. The Valencia players looked around, half-time coming, mustn't give the ball away. Not too many options, not too many players in white showing for the ball, either close or in channels, and therefore recycled. And that says something about either the approach Corberan has asked them for, or the way in which their confidence isn't high. Don't look like a team that really believes that. But with a simple 1-goal margin, that can easily change. You get the feeling that young Swede has run his race because of this, and I think it may prove that he served his penitence. And Gerard Martin does not look comfortable at all.
To the final minute of the opening 45. Frustration from Valencia, from their players and fans. The side being dominated here by Barcelona. The scoreline remains just 1-0. Barcelona travelling to Newcastle for their first game in the Champions League Thursday evening. Without doubt, that game conditioning potentially the starting 11 tonight. We'll see whether or not we see Rafinha immediately from the off in the second half.
He makes the meetings on training well.
Did have a serious look about him as he was training there, warming up. Given away by Eric Garcia, his Roduro, looking for Diego Lopez. It was a good opening, but it was difficult for him to find Diego Lopez.
Well situated, right?
Absolutely. With the pass into space to find Pedri, there's no one on the left flank. Comes back inside. Going into stoppage time at the end of this first half. There will not be much, but there will be a little bit more because Santa Maria is down. That's why. The card going to be shown to the someone on the Valencia bench. Carlos Boverat's medical staff getting a yellow card.
The technical staff players, they all wear the same expression.
Half time. Steady. Johan Cruyff, Barcelona leading. Thanks to Fermin's fantastically taken goal, beautifully set up by Ferran Torres. Barcelona, much the better side. We'll see if Valencia can improve in the second half or not. At the break, it's Barcelona 1, Valencia 0.
To overcome any difficulty, you must work hand in hand as a team to overcome challenges with talent and determination. Because together we are stronger, and together we will go out onto the field to win. EKT in La Liga, a winning.
Life doesn't wait, so why should you? With Blaze, you can buy now and pay later stress-free. You can also get 0% interest on insurance premium financing with free transfers and no-cost bill payments. And smart money management tools, you can save smart and stay ahead. Unlock financial freedom with Blaze by Premium Trust Bank. Premium Trust Bank, Nigeria's fastest growing bank.
Broadcast proudly brought to you by MTN, Go Make a Difference, and Guinness, the official beer of the Premier League.
All it takes is her to be a hero at the Women's Rugby World Cup. DSTV means choosing.
Ready? Oh yeah.
Wow.
Now you can choose amazing. Amazing acting, reacting, and overreacting.
Living for this drama.
Front row at the gaming and superfanning club on the going. Winning! Locally, all around the worlding. Wowing, binging, and blockbustering.
Me?
While others are white rising, you're jolloffing. Because life can be exciting, enticing, surprising, wow, inspiring, and everything in between. With something for everyone, anything is possible. When you're DSTV.
From the Harmony of Lagos to stages across the globe, the rhythm of Afrobeats is unstoppable. Indeed, Afrobeats isn't just a genre, it's a global movement. Our Nigerian talents are taking the world by storm. The good news is you can too.
And that's why we're here, to discover the next Afrobeat star.
Together we produce many of the biggest Afrobeat hits that have gone global. And now, we're banded to produce the future of Afrobeat. The next Afrobeat star isn't just a reality show, it's a launch pad for your global success. You can't really give wings to your dreams.
So, if you've got the talent, the passion, and the drive,
Text NAS to 13013. Visit www.nextafrobeatstar.com to send me your demo.
Blow us away with your demo and we will call you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the journey to becoming the next Afrobeat star starts now.
After 3 games this season, Atletico Madrid is still to register a win in the Liga. EA Sports today, they hope to put that behind them and open their account for the campaign. Here at the Riyadh Air Metropolitano, they take on high-scoring Villarreal, the side who have bagged the most goals so far this season. It's set to be an intriguing affair on the outskirts of the Spanish capital. So, Julian Alvarez, Antoine Griezmann standing over. It is going to be Alvarez. He's put too much on that. He's staying towards the top corner, but goes well over.
See their help at this moment in time. They both are at the same line, so they make it easy for Atletico Madrid to press. Thomas Partey should come out, bring Koke out.
As the ball's been given away, it's inside the box. It has to be finished off. Atletico Madrid take the lead. It's the second time Villarreal have made a mistake like that at the back. An absolute gift. It's pounced upon, accepted with glee by Pablo Barrios with a little bit of a helping hand from his teammates. Barrios scores. It takes under 10 minutes for Atletico Madrid to open the scoring. And Villarreal will be kicking themselves. That is a big mistake at the back.
Both teams creating a lot of chances in this beginning of the season. Villarreal scoring more of the goals.
Well, they might find a goal here. They find their way through on Black, and the finish is wide. Molero, although with all the talent in the world, the new signing from Las Palmas, through on goal after a tiny spin, managed to break away. He couldn't find the finish. Buchanan tried to play one into the centre, and Parejo with that acute angle for the pass could be on here for another strike wide from Molero. Two good efforts from him, and he's got into the right position but hasn't been able to finish.
It's a great position.
There's a three-man wall, and it's very much pulled over to the right-hand side. And Pepe curls it over and hits the crossbar. The follow-up attempt is going to drop onto the line where Oblak is unchallenged, but that smashes against the woodwork from Pepe. Takes this away cleanly. Solo. One inside, he'll try and push away, and he's given a shoulder charge. The referee might come back to that incident. And his delivery over the goalkeeper stranded, and the header comes in. The goal from Gonzalez to endear himself to the fans immediately. An instant classic from him. With the header as the referee allowed play to continue, Serlot had gone down off a shoulder charge. The cross found its way to the back post. As the bullet header, once again they've struck early. Atletico Madrid, they do so on the break. And that makes things just a little more comfortable for Los Colchoneros. Maybe eyeing up delivery to Nico Gonzalez with Rafinha second line. He was looking for goal himself, trying to curl that into the top left corner. And Luis Junior had to flap at it and on the ball away.
It's his match. I'm guessing he was looking for it.
Now he's taking more hands-on approach to try and organise his defence for any eventuality. It's an outswinger. Hit on the drop, actually goes into his own player off the shot from Nico Gonzalez. This Juliano Simeone was in the line of fire. There's another header and another goal! But this one will not stand. Clement Lenglet is denied.
He's not complaining, he's not saying answering back, so he might have. No, it's not him, it's Lenglet. The way Lenglet reacted, he reacted as he just went back, didn't say anything back to the referee.
Constantly been talking to his teammates, but to the referee as well. This one is headed wide. He's given it as a goal kick, which will not be taken because the final whistle is blown. Atletico Madrid taking 2-0 victory against Villarreal here at the Real Air Metropolitano. Goals either side of half-time. Barrios and Nico Gonzalez, and Atletico Madrid their first 3 points of the season.
Wow, amazing.
My other my big salute. So your next birthday, we're going to Dubai. Although which morning? You just made an investment 2 days ago. Bet 24.
It's open. Bet 24. Redefining the game.
Welcome to the 20th edition of the World Athletics Championships in spectacular Tokyo.
Is the presence of a sporting drive that is outstanding. It's a night of pure history. What a season, what an athlete. That was incredible. Does history back again? A true iconic legend of our sports.
Every moment, every medal, on Supersport.
You are never going to be champion as long as I'm on 2 feet.
How would a woman like that get her hands on 2 guns?
Answering those questions is your job.
so many unknowns out there. It's going to be like nothing I've ever fished before.
Top hits on DSTV. 32 ambitious chefs compete to see who has the right ingredients to rule the kitchen.
I want something really, really delicious. Yes.
Stormy seas can compete with the chaos below deck on a luxury yacht. It's talent, tears, and the occasional golden buzzer as more hopefuls take to the stage in season 20.
You have just set the bar for season 20.
Dr. Emma returns to help desperate patients fix debilitating and unusual skin problems.
Even just the right topical skincare can make a huge impact on a patient's quality of life.
And 16 Niger dance rooms shake their tail feathers as they look to be crowned best of the best. Stay connected to the unmissable home of entertainment DSTV.
Guys, food is ready.
Suitable for jollof rice, stew, spaghetti, and yam pottage. Cooked to impress. Great things are happening on the Bet Niger mobile app. Enjoy bets and services on a different level in the new season. Access to wide variety of betting options. Bet your favorite sports with great odds. Get great bonuses and promos. Withdraw your winnings with zero stress. Download the Bet Niger app from the Apple App Store and Google Play Store today.
In our lifetimes again. My perspective would be that particularly Santa Maria, Javiera, and Gaia have been almost wholly sacrificed to saying staunch that flow of Blaugrana in the instances of particularly Pedri, Firmino, and that hasn't worked. And Rooney Bargi, who I think is going to be replaced by Rafinha. I think those Valencia men have been told, give Barcelona the field of thou shalt not pass. And I use the word pyrrhic, where in any kind of argument or battle, you actually you give up more than you gain back. And I think that's what's been happening on the pitch. Really interesting, useful players. Santa Maria, I'm still learning, and I wouldn't want to rush to judgment on. Javiera makes and scores, breaks lines, opens things up. Gaia's width can give Odoro, Danjuma, or Diego Lopez on the run big opportunities. That hasn't happened because either the team has gone, we're just retrenching because we're under pressure here, or Corberán has said, we close things up, we make it a complete stalemate, and then you punch once, and then we defend again. I don't know where you stand in all of that, but I think that Valencia have not ventured enough in order to be saying, well, we should have gained more.
There are plenty of attack-minded players on the bench for Valencia. New signing Largi Ramazani is on the bench. Very quick.
And was at United at the same time as Marcus Rashford. I don't mind name checking him, but I managed to speak to Darren Fletcher about Ramazani, and when he left Manchester United, he wasn't pushed out. They had preferred the idea of keeping him, but he just thought he could progress his career by moving. And largely that hasn't been the case.
Let's see if we see Largi Ramazani at some point make his Valencia debut.
And again, I'm going to reach outside the football to consider Rafinha in the warm-up there. Had that Dr. Brisbane face on Don't make me angry. When I'm angry, he's clearly, in fact, he's been pretty ticked off all season. It's not been a happy thing. Cancelled back to January because he was one of the La Liga Brazilians that Paul Clement and Carlo Ancelotti called up to play in Brazil's game. One of which was a very big win against Chile, against a very satisfied, in front of a very satisfied audience. So that ex-Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid duo are doing fine. They called on this man, left, to the great benefit of Xabi Alonso, players like Tao and Rodrigo and Vinicius to train with the Bebas. Rafinha, absolutely delighted, I'm sure we picked for his national team, but that does affect these footballers, whether that's what they need to be a couple of minutes late for one of the flicks meetings, and that's why he was on the bench first half. Now he's got his opportunity, and I would expect to see a snarling version of Rafinha, no?
Well, if he's snarling and angry, watch out Valencia. You'll see how Rafinha approaches the 45 minutes. Give it to him.
And in the stadium at the moment, we've got 3 candidates, I think, will be in the top 10 of the Ballon d'Or. One of them was Lamine, who's sitting out with his baseball cap on back to front in his bomber jacket. And Pedri and Rafinha. Pedri should be top 3 as far as I'm concerned, but he won't.
Absolutely should.
I think called offside. He didn't think he was. The crowd didn't think he was. None of them count. No. And well done, the assistant. Good. We have made a big deal of the fact that he was, a real star footballer for Valencia. Really made the grade there, did important things for them, brought them huge money from Manchester City when he was brought there. Was born relatively locally. It was a club that mattered a great deal to him. Came through at a similar time to Carlos Soler, who's come back to Spanish football in this market to play at La Real. But Torres last season was he not the archetype of how to handle not being first choice? Stayed fit, stayed sharp, stayed perpetually in a good humour, and contributed with goals and assists almost every time he came on. And as such, has kept his spin.
And perhaps morphed a little bit into a slightly different player. We didn't think that did change your mind. He was necessarily a central forward when he started playing, although he had been used a little bit there during his Manchester City days.
So you would say he sculpted his movement and his positional sense in order to be more useful to the coach and, in theory, get more games.
There wasn't a backup to Robert Lewandowski really in the squad, and he became it. So now here he is starting ahead of the Polish striker. Again, for the 4th time this season, here he is. Marcus Rashford battling with Jacobi, getting the better of him. Can he keep hitting? No, he cannot.
The crowd want him to thrive. Point out again that although he scored on tour and did well, impressed the coach in South Korea in the pre-season tour, he was here against Cesc Fabregas's corner when he produced his absolutely best football, and he looked a sharper and more useful addition then, admittedly ineffective, than he has in competitive football so far.
I thought that he might be used through the middle,
yes,
back up to
I agree.
Lewandowski. Perhaps it hasn't been the case so far. Here is Pedri. Floating that ball to Rashford, who'll get there. That's a great cross. Oh, and a chance. Somehow, he doesn't have his goal.
Again, so much to say. Pedri's pass is wonderful. And one of the things that I know that Manchester United coaches were frustrated about this man is that he didn't do enough work on his left foot. And yet that ball is pretty adequate. He's very right-footed. He's used opportunities just to brush up on his weaker foot. Really good. France now had absolutely must score chances. What part did again about a play and that with the speed of closing the striker down? And was it a factor?
A factor.
Should have scored a chance.
Two really good opportunities for Ferran Torres.
Football teaches you as well, when you miss chances like that, often the rival will punish you.
Here, looking for Diego Lopez. Here is Fermin, just a bustling all-action player. Koundé. Nicely done from Rashford, gets it back. Still Rashford.
I judge must have seen in the last maybe 5 minutes something that Flick has asked Pedro to do. He's dropped a lot deeper into quarterback passing. He's opened things up a couple of times, whereas previously we were expecting to see him in the number 10 role, maybe 15 metres outside the penalty box, playing shorter diagonal passes into the penalty box in space. But because he's dropped back, Valencia haven't gone with him. The tightness of space that surrounded Pedro in that middle advanced area has given him now more room. It won't be a permanent thing, but I suspect we've seen enough of it to know that Flick has said to him, drop deep and release the ball with more time to pass.
A chance here for Valencia. Maybe that wasn't the right pass there from Gaia, looking for Danjuma. It came from a wild clearance from Kubasi. Danjuma being given another shot at life in La Liga. Played for Villarreal, Girona. Now he's here with Valencia. Was Villarreal's record signing until this summer.
A little bit accident prone. I know for a fact that there was the schism between him and some senior players. Valencia and Villarreal. Stopped him having a prodigious time there. And you tell the coach at Germany, perpetually very frustrated about his choices around the pitch. Felt he was a selfish footballer. And yet, at this club, Corberán has spoken about him with such enthusiasm. He really, not just because of striker, he's really believed in him, really backed him. And the goal which he scored just before the international break was a peach. And at Villarreal, and when he played in the Premier League too, I would point out, he has shown why he became a Dutch international.
Here is Pedri, in a little bit deeper, as you said, Graham. Rafinha. Seeing Rafinha on the right. Good play there previously.
When he's ambidextrous, there's no question. Not as much as Ousmane Dembele, for example, but he is, without question, equally able to move right through the field.
Here is Rafinha. Martin to Ferran. Great turn.
It's like a trademark. He should carry a placard. I can do all the difficult things well, and then hit the goalkeeper in his body when having opened up space. 3 really big chances now. Nice. I think that refers back to what you said about how he developed himself.
That's that kind of movement in the box. That wasn't something I wanted associated with Ferran.
He needed to be on the run, didn't he? And that was outright number 9.
Yeah, totally. Here he is again. Rashford. In from Rashford. Rafinha. An assist for Marcus Rashford, a goal for Rafinha. Barcelona double their lead.
Until we get Rashford or Flynn talking about this, it's going to be a matter of opinion rather than fact. Gorgeous from Rashford. even if he's simply, I'm going to put it in an area, and it isn't absolutely clear if he's going to get there. Let's see if I'm proven wrong. I agree, but I don't think so. I think it takes a lovely, that is gorgeous. That is absolutely gorgeous. Were that the mean, we wouldn't have any doubt. Oh, it's a horrible, horrible lead for the new centre half.
Marcus Rashford absolutely meant that. You can see him look up, spot the rhythm of Rafinha, plays it in. It's not the cleanest connection for Rafinha, but they all count.
But and at least he sends it the other way. If he puts it across the goalkeeper, Gareth Bale's full body in case it's the slightest of touches. So, intended or not, the Brazilian makes it impossible for the Basque to touch it. And this changes the complexion of the game more than just 1 plus 1 is 2. Suddenly Barcelona tails off, and Valencia know they need to open up and take risks.
There's Rashford. Yeah, bringing the ball out. Guerra will get there. And keep it in as well. That was a foul on Cancelo off the ball.
Here we learn, we learn heaps about the squad and about Corberan. Particularly their ability to shrug off adverse circumstances and then play with purpose and identity. But now, if they stick with 3 centre halves and 5 at the back, not 3 plus 2 advancing, you would draw the conclusion that Corberan and the club are going, well, not another 5, not another 7. I think that's no good. This is not an impenetrable football club.
There is Fermin with the shot. Thunderbolt from Fermin Lopez. And Barcelona are 5 now.
I'm going to ask you a question. Is it true? Are you loving that one? Absolutely, because it's true. But there's nothing you can do about that. Just a thunderbolt. Also, beautifully positioned. Unless your pressure in the field is better. Look at the space. I wonder if that should be from a guy who, again, as the market was closing, had to make it clear to his game, I'm not even hand down opportunities to leave. It's only right that there are stores for him around the elite of European football at Barcelona. We're not even have to sell him. There's 2 goals tonight. Absolutely sensational. The complexity, the composure of the game, but that's the 3 points, I think.
It certainly does feel that way, given what we've seen so far in this game. Valencia haven't managed the shots. There's only 6,000 inside the Estadio Johan Cruyff, but they're enjoying themselves and making themselves heard. This flurry of goals at the start of the second half have put Barcelona in complete control. Can Valencia claw one back? Create some hope. It feels very, very unlikely at the moment. A brace from Fermin Lopez. The goal from Rafinha. Naji Ramazani is on for his Valencia debut, replacing Ahmed Danjuma. Difficult circumstances for Ramazani. Come on. Let's see what he can do. Fermin, as we said, is a player who chips in with goals. 6 last season in La Liga EA Sports, 8 the season before that.
Liverpool medalist. 20. Well, I'm not doing my research for saying European champion. I think he was in that European Championship squad. Again, under De 20, a year after the Olympics victory. Gold medal in Paris against Thierry Henry's side, starring, or sometimes starring, Desiree Doué.
Another change for Valencia. 3 changes. Greenwich coming on to replace Javi Guerra and also Luis Rioja for Diego Lopez. Too little, too late, Graham.
In every way, in terms of deployment of resources, in terms of attitude about how to punish Barcelona, the manager on the ball there, Gerard Martin, is, if not a weak link, he is a link you want to rattle a lot to see what you get back. They haven't done that. And if we're talking about Javi Guerra for 35 minutes was working double time to make sure that Barcelona's midfield didn't have things easy. But when that goal comes, the one that finishes any possibility of a first win here in the city for Valencia against Barcelona since 2014, and again a Sunday sleep.
That's Neris Ramazani. Good covering from Eric Garcia. Belgian. Born Belgian international Laji Ramazani. But if you hear him speak English, it sounds like he's from South London.
He's another Yunus. What's that in that case?
Yes.
It sounds geezerish, but probably did be placed in the United States.
Laji Ramazani spending time in the Charlton Youth Academy at Manchester United. With Almeria as well in the Liga EA Sports. Here he is for Valencia. Feels like Marcus Rashford making a full 90 here. Maybe we might see Lewandowski come on and Ferran shifting out wide. And we're seeing Ferran Torres becoming more and more this focal point of the Barcelona attack in terms of being able to hold balls up, win fouls, drop deep. It's, again, really not something that we associated with his game, even at the start of last season.
I think you made a good point about how he's deliberately trying to reshape himself.
Ball looking for Marcus Rashford and finding him as well. He's in the box, as is Ferran Torres, but he's... Well, the offside flag is up.
But even in the mentality of Diakabi and what do you do, what's going to happen next, where might that be, irrespective of the fact that the flag will go up, players aren't always wholly conscious of it. It's a clearly correct decision, I think, now at this stage. Well, you doubt it, but at any rate, I think if Diakabi's done his research well, he knows that Rashford won't finish off his left foot because he isn't two-footed like Firmino or Rafinha, for example, and he thinks that sprint's going to be worth it. Actually, I can see you rolling your eyes. It wasn't going to count anyway, but I like what Diakabi did. That kind of spirit. Valencia could do right throughout the team, I think, at the moment, and maybe in the dugout too.
For the record, that absolutely wasn't rolling eyes. Here is Santa Maria.
He can't get away with that.
He's clashed with Pedri. His arm was flailing. Catches Pedri.
We call it correctly the hymno. We would internationally in English call it the anthem. It's one of the more famous football anthems across the globe, belted out. There's only just over 6,000 people there. It's been a good venue, irrespective of the scoreline. It's compact and bijou, but if you're a London estate agent and be selling it for 7 million, it's a lovely little stadium that you are in question.
Here is Fermin Lopez, who is enjoying playing here tonight. Rashford battling, still going. clashing a bit there with Fouquier.
The kind of stuff that the fans remember. It just helps you in rough patches. The fans will give you more patience, more support. That just little bit of garra. I guess Marcus from Linshore doesn't call it garra. That snarl, that fight, that bite counts.
We are. That's Thierry Correa come on for Valencia, making his return from a long injury. He comes up to replace Diakabi. Presumably we'll see Fouquier shifted centre back for there at right back.
You kind of hope that that's the signal that we're 3-0 down with less than half an hour remaining. It's no longer 3 at the back. I'd like to hope. If it is, for those, there can't be many false punishment that are unused to the Portuguese fullbacks play. He's very talented and very quick. It's impossible to expect 100% performance from at this stage. He's come back, but he, in terms of class, in terms of being able to be on the turn and make recuperating tackles, but also what he does in an attacking sense, he's a very important footballer for this club. Look at the press, up to this minute, half-hearted. That won't do. Look, and with no press, Barcelona make a mistake. What could Valencia have achieved if the press was relentless, if the sense of we can do this, we can rattle them had been higher? Who knows?
We haven't seen any of that.
Really, almost none, eh? Almost. A little bit of stoicism, quite a lot of stoicism in defence for most of the first half. And after that, then, well, I guess it's good. It's really, from a neutral point of view, it's dispiriting to watch. And if we're honest, neither Mallorca, nor Levante, nor Rayo played anything like this.
And there's Rafinha, and there's the fourth. The Brazilian smashing home. A terrific finish on what is turning out to be a terrific night for Barcelona.
Don't make it angry.
Somebody made it angry.
That was ferocious. I know, let's go to the joint part first. For Barcelona's neutrals, that's a hell of a piece of work. But irrespective of compared to saying to our referee tonight, that was bullying, that was Guillermo Cuadrafalán. And playing to each other as simple as that. Rafinha wants it more. I'm not talking, thanks to that brilliant angle, we can see there's no dialogue. The captain isn't saying to the newbie, my ball, leave me in space, I'm not managing. And Rafinha's like, alright, don't go. I'll run off with the swag. Nice ovation for him from foot.
Off goes Marcus Rashford, and out comes Dani Olmo.
Right now, just remember what the score last season when Valencia visited the Blaugrana?
7-1 in the league, 5-0 in the Commodore.
Time.
We're edging towards.
Irrespective of what clearly has either been the coaches or the players' idea about, like, we'll be staunch. We'll have an unbreachable line of 9 behind the ball. It hasn't worked. It's been... Corberan comes out and says, that is not what the coach told me, that is not what I asked my players to do, then it's going to look for Los Che's loyal fans like they've been badly let down with these men play. In fact, I bet they wish they had Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones and Manny Black.
It's Lewandowski's first touch.
Don't fall referee. Latest of France.
You don't often see Dani Olmo and Fermin not together. So Fermin is shifting out to the left, where Rashford was, and Olmo potentially where Fermin was. Let's see. This, not the first time, by the way, that Valencia played a league game at Barcelona's training complex in 1987, which was Valencia's one and only season in Segunda. More on that in a second. Here's Rafinha for the hat-trick. That was a chance, a really good chance as well. Back to 1987. Barca's beating were also in the second division, and they played a game in the mini Estadi, not in this particular stadium.
No, in fact, the mini stadium. And it was part of a training complex, and just above it, there were a number of rudimentary pitches, on which Leo Messi made his first balls in front of Charlie Ressa. There's much more rudimentary than this. Absolutely cheap. And it was there that Johan Cruyff, for example, first saw Pep Guardiola. The whole thing is now knocked down and flattened as part of the Camp Nou renovation. I've done to the quiet 1996, the Final Four, the 21 Final Four. Germany, France, Scotland, Spain. This was the football stadium in Barcelona. Every one of them said they'd never ever
Chance here for into the penalty area and managed Valencia's first shot of the game. Daniel continues getting forward, as does Robert Lewandowski in support of Rafinha. Lewandowski left it there for Olmo.
In fairness, Rafinha pointed to exactly where he did eventually pass the ball.
Find the pass into space for Ramazani, and that's where Ramazani can be dangerous. Valencia playing on despite Gerard Martin down.
That expression on his face, and when Santa Maria was down, it was actually Gerard Martin who was the first to say to his teammates, we have to play the ball out. So he might be ticked off, but what he was saying to, I didn't spot who was his teammate helping him with the cramp that he was greatly suffering. He shrugged him off and said, you know, Raiders in behind, fire in the hole.
It is damage limitation now for Valencia, although you feel that the damage has already been done. Here is Olmo. Still Dani Olmo, allowed to dribble and dribble.
But what was his mentality there, Phil? The informed Dani Olmo there,
Yeah, to pass.
isn't trying to dribble past people. That's not his game. There's a tapeworm in his head going, I have to score to vindicate myself. I haven't been playing well. I have to do something magical. I don't think that's what helps you out of a slump.
Possession stats very similar to the first half. Absolutely dominating Barcelona. We've seen really timid version of Valencia this evening. There is Fourquier. Also winning it back and coming forward once again through Fermin. keeps it on. 3 Barcelona players in the box waiting for it. Here's Fermin. Still Fermin. And fall to Rafinha. Very good. And he's good there. To Rafinha in so much space. Too much space. Too long to get the shot away. That should have been a fifth. From Valencia. Really should have added to their lead there.
The only exception I think this guy out and gets in the way. When this ball comes out, right there at full stretch, Barcelona queuing up to score. That's a smart move. Partly because the crowd is beating something that can be a fortish to actually go wobbling and big header in the first half. With this game 1, flip the showing without making no goals. Exactly what he was arguing he wished Lafuente had done was leave the game to the back. Remove anybody you're not quite sure of their fitness, whether they're a little bit protected. So
goes Gerard Martin, and on comes young Jofre Torres.
I never really have heard this 1,000 times because it seems that every Barca kid, whether it's Rooney Bargy they bought, or it's Bernal or Caseto or Lamine or on and on, people say great things. Virtually he's going to New York as well, another exceptional footballer. Joe Fernandez, Guille, Tony Fernandez. But this guy Torres is tipped, it's quick. Vaulting over Gerard Martin and pushing Balde for the first team place down. That's exciting. But the fella who's just come on for Gerard Martin.
Chapman, the 18-year-old, the second appearance of the season. Space here for Jules Koundé. Barca aren't done. They're looking for more goals. It's Olmo. And Lewandowski! Superb finish from Robert Lewandowski. That's what he does. Dani Olmo with the pass, Lewandowski with the finish. Barca have 5.
It goes from end to end in about 13.5 seconds. When the left back starts to move his right foot, it causes huge explosive applause because he picks out Koundé. And now this is when Dani Olmo doesn't do what I was criticising for before. The dribble, the special thing for me, he does the right thing. That's what he does. But when you play end to end like that, it's a mark of confidence, it's a mark of technical ability, it's a mark of ability players. The amount of space everywhere. You press not because of team orders in this situation. You press, you tackle, for personal play. That's not good enough. But when as in here, the first half wasn't embarrassing. Valencia fans, I think, will back the idea that this has become embarrassing.
Change for Valencia because Beltran coming on to replace Hugo Duro. Is another terrible night for Valencia in the city of Barcelona. Remember, they lost here 7-1 last year in the league, 5-0 in the Copa del Rey. They've shipped another 5 tonight.
But you pointed out as well that their road record needs to improve drastically, and this is another self-inflicted wound. And it bears, okay, there's been the international break, but it bears no relationship to the way in which they got after Getafe in the last game in front of nearly 46,000 fans at Mestalla. And played with that typical Corberan, Los Che, Valencia aggression and competence against a side that's generally difficult to pick down. And there's nothing to compare in character or personality or running or pressing or, again, I use that word, Gara, the aggression, sporting aggression. Where's that gone?
There is Jofre Torres, Fermin. Here's Pedri looking to get in on the action. Jules Koundé was wide open. Can't begrudge Pedri taking a shot on from there.
He's been taught by every coach recently he must score. Yes. And he did for Spain a wonderful right foot shot into the far left corner. Pretty sure in Cognac he's kept from running. That's what he wants sticking with it. But several coaches have said, right, your pending assignment is more goals, more assists, and he has begun to shoot off left and right foot from distance. Another example would be the wonder goal he scored against Madrid in the Classico Cup final down at Cartuja. Gradually it's coming. That one just was a valedictory round of applause. It was well off target, but he's asked to do that.
Love the goal against Levante on match day 2 as well from Pedri as they come forward. Valencia with Ramazani. Collected by Joan Garcia now when attacking the cross from the Belgian. And at 15, Lucas Beltran, who's come on. Summer signing on loan from Fiorentina in his first minutes as a Valencia player. Yet another Argentine signed by Valencia, who have a long history of signing players from Argentina.
Hence the informal nickname, Los Che.
Beltran becoming the 36th Argentine to sign for Valencia, more than any other country, and some really big names in that list.
Truly. I was going to say, next up hostage, unfortunately, the two biggest would be Di Stefano as a coach, who won the league. Although everybody's going to remember him, and they're going to say, the footballers.
Mario Kempes without doubt. Here is Olmo. Couldn't keep that down. It's Mario Kempes, legend figuring. Valencia,
the modern one would be Aymar. 20 years ago. For that gorgeous one. Now, Anthony Phil.
As we listen to the reception for the return of Marc Bernal.
You explained well that during the inaugural pre-season tour in the Flick, that was when, although a lot of the senior players were absent because of the European Championships and the fact that Barcelona had won it, Bernal was identified as the closest replica that the club could produce to Sergio Busquets.
Rafinha chases this ball over the top.
Now against Monaco in the Camper tournament, which that seems more organised enough to play in a full stadium, that seems Camp Nou. They profited from his errors, and Flick was like, "Don't worry about this kid. This is going to be fine." Bernal was identified as somebody who was going to be a special footballer for the system of Barcelona, how they like to play, what they like to pivot to do. In the end, that became Casado. Bernal's knee ligament injury was a horrendous one. It's well over a year since he's played football. He's been medically fit for nearly a month, but they've taken it so carefully and slowly because they've had.
And he just stopped before that move.
As you said, it was really bad injury.
I will come out for you. I did like
Match day 3 last season. Easing back into competitive action. Ball looking for the run of Ramazani. Torrea with the pass. Had gotten through. Ramazani was through the middle.
Ramazani maybe needs a little bit more time, a little braver, I think. Tiny example of Portuguese fly.
Hansi Flick That first game against Mallorca, which Barcelona won comfortably with Mallorca, down to 9 men. They won 3-0 in the end, but Hansi Flick wasn't happy, and he wasn't happy with how his side dropped the intensity.
They went on holiday, they literally did. It was, I thought it was for reigning champions, I thought it was pretty embarrassing.
Which is perhaps one of the reasons why we've seen them keep going and going and going today.
And I think 100% agreement, and it was also the trademark last season. They always had a sucker punch up their sleeves in difficult circumstances, not just when they were winning. And you don't display that habit unless you play it with this intensity in the closing stages of matches all the time.
Well, last season they won this fixture 7-1. It wasn't the only time they scored 7 goals. They scored 7 against Valladolid as well. They didn't score 6 goals in any games, but they scored 5 goals in 9 different matches in all competitions, Barcelona last season.
Good, isn't it?
Pretty good, yeah.
But you painted a picture, that embarrassment about the lack of Camp Nou. Remember it soaring away unbeaten at the top of the league. The Champions League just round the corner had some changes where people can lose if they're not fully on it. An unconvincing start to the season. And yet they've come out and put on a right good performance. It was good while it was 1-0, it was intense, it was creative. And from that point onwards, it's been outright ruthless.
Here is Olmo. There now, and he's found Lewandowski, who finds the back of the net. The offside flag is up.
I think correctly, but where the ball was or wasn't, doesn't strip away from the quality of the pass.
Yeah.
I go back to the point that people were trying to educate us from inside the club, saying that Bernal, first time left foot pass, where he just deadens it into the path of the pole. He may never ever reach Busquets level. Very few will. But that's the type of pass Busquets was capable of. Totally aware, where's the space, and just no movement, just dead foot, and the instep of his left foot into Lewandowski's path. That's the type of thing, whether his goal stands or not, that Flick expects to see from that man, that young man.
It is a goal for Barca. They have 6. Lewandowski's got his second. There is still time for them to repeat last year's 7th heaven result.
Such a good human story. There's been so much care given to him in coming back. There's so much affection shown to not just sympathy by everybody in the stadium. The love is it's number 9. Finish it with 3 and a couple of apples. And it's 6.
And this is turning into just about the most perfect night possible for Barcelona.
Don't leave me being alone as the Scrooge. The next opponent's in Newcastle, whose scouts will be in the stadium, and any Harry staff will be watching this repeatedly. Newcastle will have seen weaknesses, yes.
Yes.
I have no question on that. I'm glad you agree. Or at least places where they were probed completely differently to Valencia.
Valencia fans, the ones you can hear there, they're asking for their team to play with a bit of guts. It's not. Here is Rafinha. Rafinha finds Torrens. He pulls it back. Just a bit of respite for Valencia in this second half as we see this Lewandowski onside goal, and I see it pretty clear.
We called it. I'm known to have a shot at things, far as Tom, to try to be more conservative. But you're right, you called it initially, that it looked onside. Lewandowski's movement at the time, very good, his finish very good. Lovely from Mark Bernal.
Rafinha stay down as Ramazani comes forward. Beltran was calling for it. Let's just see here what Rafinha's back on his feet. He'd gone down in a worrying heap, but he's picked himself back up. Didn't want to jinx it for Barcelona by saying it's been a perfect evening, but only an injury now could put a dampener on things.
It's a Sherlock Holmes mystery in Agatha Christie style. How can you take over a team, support them, bring them up to very near the European place, and lose 7-5, minimum 6 in 3 consecutive games to Barcelona, and in the third match, not appear to have learned anything. It's just, football is such an old sport, you'll never take it out.
Here is Fermin. There is time for a 7th. Couldn't find Rafinha. Rafinha blocks the clearance. As we tick into stoppage time here, I wonder how much is going to be allowed. Just a couple of minutes. A lenient amount of stoppage time, although there hasn't been too many stoppages in this second half at all. VAR check was very quick as well.
Once on the 50th anniversary, we interviewed Johan Cruyff, and he told me that one of his tricks when he was busing the player was that if they'd been playing badly in the previous game, he dedicated the first 15 minutes to tricks, showing off, make the crowd happy and entertained and forget the last game. Therefore, for that and several other reasons, the great man, looking down for the ball, pretty happy with it, I think. Style, not the score. Such but the style, the idea.
Falls to Correa. It's Fouquier. Greenwich. This timing is shot. This game will end with Valencia taking a corner. I can hear there, en portería cero, let's keep a clean sheet. Decent looking ball in. It's Rioja. Got a great shot on him. Just about enough time to take this final corner of the game. It's in towards Tarrega, hit away by Kubarsi, Rafinha chasing and getting there, and that is that. At the Estadio Johan Cruyff, Barcelona have absolutely dismantled Valencia. A 6-0 thrashing for the champions. A big win for the Catalans, another big defeat for Valencia away to Barcelona. It's finished. Barcelona 6, Valencia 0.